lose. That's not happening.
No.
You good?
Yeah.
Can I do my cool entrance now?
Yeah.
Sure. What if I just jump in like Batman? Oh, Batman. You reckon this would take my
Get
weight?
your shoes off the sofa.
You reckon that would take my weight?
No.
If I jump on?
No.
Hello, darling wife.
Hello.
We're back. It's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3, maybe 4 weeks actually. It's been quite a while after that whole debate on whether we're going to do it bi-weekly or weekly. We
Yeah,
didn't
so
do either.
because of the debate, I spat the dummy out and I decided we're going to do it monthly.
Right.
I didn't. What's been happening? What have you been up to?
We've just been busy. I think that's why we've not been able to
Go on then.
update.
What have you been busy with?
Well, let's...
Before that, I've got a controversial statement to make.
Oh, here we go.
Right? Coca-Cola Zero, no sponsorship, there are other beverages available, is better than Diet Coke.
No. No. I am Team Diet Coke all the way. That's the next poll.
That's just where we're... The next what?
The poll. The
Oh.
next poll.
Right. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Well, I think we need to rewind it back to...
So anyway, what have you been up to?
That's why we're rewinding it back.
I just rewound back. See? Is it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, well, we've had a couple of sessions, and then we did an update video, podcast, YouTube, and then the following weekend we trained again, but we didn't have time to update. But that was the weekend we both had different events on.
Yeah, we both had different events on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
neither of us could go and support each other at
Said
the
event.
events that we were
It was funny, I remember driving out in the morning, I literally went south, you went north.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. So I had a cross country
Yeah.
locally, which was fine. And
How'd you get on?
How did I get on? I didn't feel too fit for the distance.
I feel like you're so far away from the
I am
microphone.
quite far away.
There we go.
I didn't feel too fit for the distance, but knowing that I guess I've not really done that many sessions.
You don't run cross country.
Well, I've trained a lot.
No.
But not having done that many sessions in Chicago, and the sessions that I have done haven't been feeling good. Yeah, it was
You've
fine.
been on like a... help me out here.
Like a easing back in return.
No, not that. That's
No?
not what I was going to say at all.
What were you going to say?
So when you train for something, it's like, you know, like... so when you climb Everest, you reach a peak, and after the peak
Yeah.
is like...
So we talked about
the
that
summit.
last time, didn't
After
we?
you summit's the peak, or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah, so I kind of talked about that last time as well, about feeling a bit lost. But I don't feel as lost now. I'm back on like a plan. I like having the structure. But yeah, I'm not really a cross-country runner, so I kind of went with the mindset of I'm going to use this as a training session. I'm going to get a lot more out of it than I would a training session if I was to do it by myself.
Tell me more about that structure thing. Why do you like structure so much in your training?
I've always liked structure. I don't know. It's a bit strange because I've not necessarily got a running goal at the moment. I've not got, for example, I've not got a race entered. So I've got an event. I've got Hyrox, but I've not got a race entered. Well, that maybe changed this week. Yeah.
Come on. Spit it out.
So I'm doing Berlin Marathon in
By the
September.
way, I want to get real close to the microphone just to tell you this, right? When Jen did London, she said, "That's it, I'm not doing any more marathons, I'm done." And then we went to Chicago, did another marathon, and when she finished that one, you never guess what you guess what she said? Oh yeah, that's right. That's it, I'm done, I'm never doing another marathon. And so anyway, we're going to Berlin to do another marathon. I say we because I basically do the marathon as well, cheerleading of course. Almost got arrested. Did I tell you I almost got arrested? Yeah.
Yes.
I almost got arrested in Chicago. I just realised. I've not even looked at my hair and I've got like this one bit sticking out.
What's new?
Anyway, yeah, I almost got arrested in Chicago. Try to cross the road. I didn't realise it was such a thing. And like,
different rules.
yeah, it was like
different country, different rules.
And it was one of those ones where all I had in my head was, don't be cheeky, don't be cheeky, don't be cheeky.
Which is really hard for you because you're probably one of the cheekiest people.
But in an endearing way, sometimes.
I mean, okay.
Sometimes in a very not endearing way.
I'm not very sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that is my
structure.
But that's quite far away. So that's a September goal. So I obviously want to have goals before that. But I've not quite got there yet with establishing what they are, other than Hyrox. I like the structure. My coach knows I like the structure, so she gave me a bit of she gave me 3-4 weeks after Chicago.
Shout out Team Sim.
Shout out Team Sim. But my coach knows me very well, knows I like the structure, so the structure is what she gives me. So yeah, the cross country was just part of that, in that it was a training session, and I feel like I got a lot out of it. I ran hard, but at the same time, I realised that my fitness is not where it could be for 8.6k cross.
I remember speaking to you afterwards, and you were kind of deflated, disappointed, but also not.
Yeah,
you were in that weird kind of line. You were
I do that quite a lot.
You're almost trying to convince yourself that it was okay, but then you were unconvincing yourself that it wasn't, and then you just kept going back and forth between the two.
I think I'm just really self-critical, so I've
not a bad thing. I want
to be positive, and I want to take the positives out of it, but at the same time, there's this negative, not negative, but this other part that's just
voice gnawing at you.
Why couldn't you have just pushed a bit harder up that last hill, or why couldn't you have just tried to hang on to the girls in front and not get dropped? But you know what, it is what it is. I'm happy that I did it. I'm proud of myself. 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't have gone and done that race if I'd not felt fit. I
think this is a good time to give some background on you.
Oh, God.
You started off as a helicopter diver.
I wonder where the hell that was going.
Yeah. So you actually started your athletics career, I guess. So we'll call it a career? Endeavour?
Hobby life.
So you started athletics very young.
Yes.
But you also didn't start as a long distance runner.
No. So I started in primary school.
19 AD.
I would do the primary school cross country, which I can't even remember how far it was at the time, but it felt long, and it was probably
a mile. I managed to get out of every single one I ever had to do.
And then I went to Elgin Athletics Club. I loved it. I did track. During summer, I would always be off to Inverness track for competitions. I'd be doing the 100, the 200, and slowly moved up to, when you got to under 17, you could do the 300, but you couldn't do the 400 yet. So slowly moved up to 300, and then...
when did you start doing Highland Games and stuff? Was that part?
That was all kind of part of it.
Same thing, just going and fleecing people for money.
Did the circuit, the Highland Games circuit, and that was your little earner over summer. You could just get a really decent haul of cash. And then moved to 4s, which, I mean, 400s were horrible. But I continued that training. I then moved to Married Roadrunners, where I loved the team there, and then I went to uni, joined Aberdeen Athletics, continued on the kind of hunt for 2s and 4s.
Why didn't you join the uni athletics?
See, that's the thing. When I joined, the uni athletics wasn't really a thing. Now it is a thing. There's a massive...
It's a big team now, isn't it?
There's a massive team. But when I joined, there wasn't really that big kind of community. So I flitted to a couple of groups during my time with Aberdeen. Yeah, flitted is the word.
Flitted? How cute is that word?
I flitted between.
Wowzers.
And then
Keep going. I just need to thingy the screen.
And then I joined the endurance group, which was Ken and Joyce Hogg's group. They had a massive squad, and it was great. Everyone was...
They were like the squad, though.
Yeah.
It was like the famous.
And that was...
Even when I started getting into like track work and stuff, like
yeah.
it was always Ken and Joyce's squad, even though...
There were other squads,
I'm probably going to get cancelled, but here we go. Even though you guys were the veggies...
Oh, yeah, okay.
and us sprinters were the meatheads. It always felt like there was just like a better community in the actual squad itself. Whereas like we turned up, we were all individuals turning up to a team thing. Whereas you guys were a team.
Yeah. But I was still very much a sprinter in that endurance group.
Yeah, I remember that.
So me and, I trained with Kelsey. We were like the two sprinters, and I've probably missed out a couple of other girls as well. But so we always got less on the reps. And then I don't know, I can't remember exactly which year it was, but I'd done park runs and things like that. But I remember saying to Ken and Joyce, I was like, I want to do a half marathon. I'm going to enter a half marathon. And I remember Ken turning around to me and saying, but you've not even done a 10k. I kind of thought...
This is my life, by the way.
I thought,
yeah. I want to redecorate the entire house. Yeah, but we've not even got a light bulb.
But that was... You did it as well. You entered it as well.
Well, I entered a half marathon because I'm stubborn. And I also entered it because somebody told me that I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And I went out to prove a point.
Yeah.
So that was it.
So we both entered Inverness half marathon in 2019. 19.
Yeah.
No,
it must have been 18 because then we did Great North Run the year after.
Oh, did we? I thought we did Great North Run that same year.
Was it the same year? Maybe.
I'm sure it was.
I've done 2 half marathons, by the way.
So yeah, it must have been 2019.
Both of them start with a 2.
Oh, and it just kind of went from there.
What's your half marathon time?
82:50
in English.
1 hour 22.
Same.
50 something.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Mm-hmm. It's actually like my 10k time.
Mm-hmm. But so just kind of went from there, and then when I turned 30, I decided I want to do something big to kind of symbolise turning 30. I'm going to enter a marathon. I'm going to do London Marathon. Didn't exactly think I was going to get in.
You didn't?
Did get in. So
you didn't get in?
Yeah, I did.
Didn't you after the Great North Run you didn't get in?
I got into London.
I got into the Great North. You didn't get into the Great North.
Yeah, and I had fundraise, but
you had the fundraise.
Yeah, London I got in. So that was the goal, and then there was only ever going to be one marathon. That was it. And here we are, number 3 pending.
So do you think you're going to tick them all off then?
Well, it's that stubborn thing again. I'd never really planned to, but now you've said to me.
I said it'd be really cool.
You were like, yeah, but you may as well just do them all now.
Might as well. You've only got 3 left.
Oh, well, you've said it now, so
aren't they going to wait to add on another one to?
Potentially, or potentially
7 majors.
Australia.
Ooh.
So so I had a different coach for London, and that was great. Like we both did. So the guy that I was coached by, he like self-coached himself for the marathon as well. So we both did London, so that was really good. And then come the start of this year, I actually moved back to my coach who coached me whilst I was at school, when I was in Murray Roadrunners. So
when you were called Jenny,
yeah. So it's really good to be back with her. She knows me really well. Like she just... You
two have a great relationship though.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was doing, but I came in one night and you were just on the phone and I was like, oh, are you on the phone? And you're like, oh, Carol. And I was like,
yeah.
okay. And then I wandered. I came back. It was like an hour later. I was like, you're still on the phone.
Yeah. To be fair, that was kind of like
Debrief.
that was Chicago debrief and like what's next chat. But no, she is brilliant.
So yeah, we've given the people
Yeah.
an exclusive.
Exclusive. So
Jen is in Berlin.
yeah. But that was a very long-winded way of saying I like my structure.
Yeah, that was a busy weekend, eh?
So yeah, that was that weekend for me. But the reason I couldn't come and spectate you was because I was doing that cross. But you were. Tell us what you were up to.
I just had a day out in Dundee.
Yeah.
Just casually went down to Dundee and became the 89 kilo Scottish weightlifting champ.
So casual. So casual.
Yeah, madness. Crazy.
But what was your intention like going into that? Because like, yeah, you were training for it, but like, you wanted to get some like competition exposure, really.
Yeah. So when at the start of the year, a little bit like you had a, you know what I'm like. Every year I pick something, whether it was handstands or CrossFit or
Yeah,
gymnastics. I will pick something at the start of the year to really focus on for the whole year.
Obsessed.
Slightly. So this year I decided that I wanted to enter a weightlifting competition. It's all Ben's fault. Like, Ben's my training partner. Ben, if you're watching, it was your fault. It was all his fault because we were training CrossFit together. We'd have a few competitions, and he just, again, similar to what you were talking about with me and you there, he kind of dropped it in. He was like, never fancy just doing like just weightlifting and see what you could do. And I was like, nah, I love doing all this other stuff. And like, I actually put a post out today. Like, I love the variety of CrossFit, and I love how it's never the same.
Yeah.
Because I have a very active brain.
Oh my god,
and
tell me about it.
I can't really do, like, I couldn't do powerlifting, for example.
Okay.
Because I couldn't go in every single day and do squat, bench, and deadlift. That's it. Like, I'd have to do loads of different accessory stuff in order to improve that. Otherwise, I'd just get bored and wander away.
Yeah.
And I thought that'd be very similar with that when it comes to Olympic weightlifting. But the good thing with Olympic weightlifting is it's a little bit like golf, in that there's a timing required to it, there's a practice required to it, there's a technique required to it. It's not about like how heavy you can lift, essentially, obviously it is, but
yeah,
it's how heavy can you lift and maintain integrity, and how can you lift and maintain certain aspects. Or okay, if you lift this way, your elbows slow down. If you do this, you don't drop as fast. If you do that, your core tip. So there's loads of aspects to it.
Yeah. I've never heard it compared to golf before, but when you explain it like that, that makes complete sense.
I've made this comparison because I tried to learn golf in the summer, and I made the comparison then when I was trying to learn how to swing, and I was like, it's just a little bit like weightlifting. Where like, it's mostly timing.
Yeah.
Mostly technique. Like, I don't have to try and hump this ball as far into the distance as I can.
Yeah.
I just need to time it right.
Mm-hmm.
And my body needs to move in a sequence of a certain sequence and to hit that ball in a certain way. It's the same way weightlifting. You grab the bar. To be fair, when you are up on the platform, you grab the bar, everything goes blank. You don't think of nothing.
Yeah,
You're just looking, I can't see anyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short there. I decided to enter my first weightlifting competition because Ben had basically planted that seed.
Yeah.
So I entered one. Did a little bit of training for it. I was still actually training CrossFit full time, basically. Trained up to the competition. Didn't do like a peak week. Didn't do like a deload. Didn't do any tapering.
Yeah.
Just walked in and casually came second in that competition, pushing the guy who was in first place, who was actually Scotland's Commonwealth athlete, Mr. Epton. And it was really good, and then he spoke to me at the end. He was like, oh, you should do another one. And then I was like, okay. I went to another one, but this time I'll give it a little bit more time and targeted practice. So then I did that, entered the second one, and you came down to that one.
Yeah.
And I won. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, okay, let's do another one. This could just be a fluke. And then, so I did another one. It was the Scottish Open. And I came second, but I wasn't happy with that one at all like to the run up of it, during the day of it. It was actually your birthday, which I was annoyed because we had to go and do it on your birthday, and I was hoping we were going to be on the second day rather than the first day. So it was just a few things that kind of just got to me a little bit, and I psyched myself out. And do you want to give that a wee shake? I don't know why it keeps going up.
Yeah.
Just shake the trackpad. There we go. And yeah, I wasn't happy with how I handled myself and how I handled. Like, I just felt it wasn't me on that day. Like,
but you get days like that. You get days where like you feel off, and that's allowed. But like you're not going to feel.
It kind of it put me back a little bit actually in terms of like my confidence with it, because there's, as much as might be a cocky and confident guy, don't tend to really show it in that aspect of like that showmanship type thing. So like you need a bit of showmanship to go and stand on a platform and basically be like, I'm about to lift this and you're about to cheer. And then you have to have a little bit of showmanship in the back room where everyone's like lifting around you and it's all male machismo, which it doesn't work for me in that sense because I'm too jokey.
You are, yeah. Like you're not. Okay. I can imagine people in there being like, right, game face, like I'm in the zone, blah blah blah, and you'd be like, all right, like cracking a joke.
Like, I was tap dancing and everything with my weightlifting shoes on and stuff.
That actually doesn't surprise me.
Or was it all a mind game?
Or was it?
Who knows? Anyway, actually, I felt it set me back a little bit with my confidence and stuff. So I stopped training for a while. I had a few injuries and things I needed to heal up, and then I got the invitation for the British through, which gave me 4 weeks to train for the British. So I basically threw myself back into it. Again, going to it, I put so much pressure on the British like that.
Yeah.
It was never on my radar, and then all of a sudden that became my almighty goal.
Yeah, and like 4 weeks, that is not a substantial amount of time to like
I was just starting to get my timing and my technique back, and I was just starting to get like the heavier weights again back on, and then it was like, right, we're in. I was like, oh no. But anyway, it gave me a taste.
Yeah, exactly.
It gave me a taste and a feel for what could be done.
If this is a level that I can compete at with having not really focused 100% on this throughout the year, like, yeah.
And then the Scottish Senior Championships came up, so the national championships, and I actually wasn't going to enter it. And I remember I messaged Shelley and I was like, do you think I should enter this? Shelley was one of the coaches who looked after me at the British, and she owns CrossFit Dundee Sweatbox and Scottish Weightlifting. So I messaged her saying, do you think I should enter this just for practice? And she was like, enter it just for practice.
Yeah.
Just for pure exposure. Because every time I walked up to the platform in the British, she said I did something different. She was like, you didn't have a routine, you didn't have a process, you were like, you were just a bit wired. So you just need more practice in front of people to get that exposure. I was like, fine, perfect.
And this was the one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So we turned up 2 weeks ago. I had about an 8-week training camp going into it. I kept very, very quiet about the training camp. I didn't post any videos. I didn't tell people my weights. I didn't tell people my numbers. And you actually asked me, was it a day or 2 days before, how you feeling? And my response was, I'm going to go down and have fun. I'm going to go down and enjoy it. I'm going to soak it all in. And if anybody beats me on the day, then they deserve it.
Yeah.
Because I knew what I was capable of. I knew how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I knew the numbers that I was putting up in training.
Yeah.
So I was like, if someone beats me on the day, then fair play. Like, I was outworked and they beat me.
And I knew when you said that, I was like, you're feeling good. You're feeling like ready to go in here, but you're not shouting about it. You're like quietly confident.
But then humble and hungry.
The day before you went out to the gym on the Friday for like almost like a little shakeout, and then I text you at one point being like, how's it going? You were like, it's going awful.
It was so bad.
Horrendous.
I self-coach. I've always self-coached, but I'm gonna outsource that. We'll talk about that soon, maybe on a different podcast. So I self-coached myself, and I thought Friday night, the day before the competition, head down to the gym and just warm up to my opening weight. Yeah. Hit it, done. Warm up to the next opening weight, done. Leave. Well, I must have missed my opening weight about 8 times. And every time I missed it, I got progressively less confident.
Yeah, you're.
And I was like,
up
oh
talking
my
about it.
god. Anyway, we got there on the day. Really nice place. It's a pretty cool gym, Sweatbox.
Yeah.
It's so we've got our own little warm up area. I'm warming up. I warm up. I hit 100 kilo snatch. I'm like, oh, yes, I've got it. It's fine. My timing's there.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about last night. Hit 105. Easy. Right, I've got this. And then I was sitting waiting to go out. I was opening up at 110. And I was like, I'm just going to try it. I tried it. I failed. I was like, oh no. I'll try it again. Tried it again. Managed to get it, but it was a bit questionable. And I was like, all right, I've done it. Went out. And when you go out into a crowded area like that with people just all eyes on you, and weightlifting's a little bit different from like running, whereas as soon as I go to touch the bar, everything goes dead silent.
Yeah.
And it's very like, whew,
Yeah.
and you can just feel everybody looking at you. So I went up, grabbed the bar, threw it. Now what I forgot was when you go to a platform and you're on stage like that, you got so much extra energy that you didn't really know. And I just threw this bar and couldn't control it and missed the first lift. And I was like, oh, nah.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, very long-winded way of saying I managed to come away with senior men's championship.
Absolutely smashed it.
But it was good. It was actually a really good competition. There was a guy in there, Callum, and he was like, he was ahead of me the whole time, basically, till the last lift. And it came down to it, and it was like a game of chess in the back of who's going to go where and which numbers you're going to pick. And I went 150, and I knew for a fact I can do 150. I've done 150 several times. I'm fine with that. I didn't know if he could do 150. I hoped he couldn't. And when speaking to him in the back afterwards, that was the first time he ever cleaned it. So fair play for cleaning it. And he just missed the jerk. Like, he just missed it. He just couldn't lock his elbows out, which meant I just had to go out and pick the weight up and put it above my head, which was doable. But I was walking out, and it wasn't until that moment I went out onto the stage for that last lift. I went to grab the bar, and my legs went jelly.
Yeah.
Like, they went to shit. And it was in that moment I realised, I really want this.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted it. Because I tried to convince myself that that's just a day out.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it was like, I really want it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I got surprised because like you were even you downplayed it with me as well. Oh yeah, I'm just kind of going, bit of competition exposure, blah blah blah.
But that's genuinely what I believed.
Yeah.
Up until that very moment of that last bar.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was walking out to it and I was putting the chalk on and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I could actually do this. Like in my first 12 months, would it be?
Yeah.
First 12 months, first year of weightlifting.
Yeah.
I'm going to become the Scottish national champion.
Believe and you will achieve.
Sorry. You're just going to go and live, laugh, love over there. Anyway.
No, I got shocked when I got your message. Not shocked because it's not like I didn't believe that you could do it. But I was just like, oh wow. And then I really struggled because I was obviously trying not to be completely gutted with my 13th place.
Yeah, you're like...
Be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. But still be like buzzing for you, the fact that you'd won. And try and like get myself out of my little like hole that I'd put myself in because of,
So yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks.
Yeah.
But we're back on Hyrox train.
Yeah, we've still been
doing bits.
Doing bits.
But now
like this week, Monday.
Actually, I got a notification come up on my phone. Tomorrow is our official start day of the prep for Hyrox.
Yeah, so we kind of wanted to get ahead of the game a little bit and more me because I've it's completely different training for me. But Monday we did cardio stuff on Monday, like Hyrox style though, didn't we?
Yeah, it was basically like a Mikos triangle of ski, bike and row. It was every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We had a certain distance to complete on each of those in 2 minutes before moving on. And it was rough. I felt rough.
Horrid. Like
I threw up in my mouth like twice.
This type of training is so humbling because, I mean, without being big-headed, I know I'm fit.
So
but I'm not fit for this. It was like, yeah,
You made a really good point. So we're literally like, what, 20 minutes finished training?
Mm.
And you asked a really good question in the gym, and I gave you like a really shitty answer in the gym because I just wanted to get on and get it done. But so you asked the question, when do I work on my weaknesses and when do I work on like the things that I don't do, and how do I get better at them? And I gave you the answer. I was like, yeah, we'll work on it through the week when you do your programming and stuff, thingy-majiggy. And then, but the actual like the overarching thing to it is that there's almost two sides to the same coin, right? One, you don't want to just work your strengths and then hope your weaknesses pull through.
Yeah.
Okay. You obviously got to keep working on your strengths and work on your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And then vice versa. You don't just want to work on your weaknesses to the point that they're becoming a strength, but your actual strength dwindles.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's finding that balance between good solid running and learning how to be efficient on concepts machines like the skier, the rower.
Which are so humbling.
Yeah, for you. Whereas for me, because I know how to utilize the machine, like I know how to pull the machine and how to play the machine at its own game, because I've done it for so long and because I've done it plenty of times before, that bit's fine for me.
Yeah.
But the running's gonna hurt me. Which we kind of alluded on this in the first episode. It was the graded exposure.
Yes.
We actually went for a run pretty much after that.
Yeah, it must have been like the next day actually. Yeah.
No, it was straight after. I'm sure we recorded in the morning and went for a run at night.
Oh, we must have then.
I can't remember. Anyway, we went for a run.
Yeah.
And we were like, I wish we'd recorded the run because the run was the run conversation was immense. But we were speaking about graded exposure and how, I said to you, don't complete all the reps. So like we're not splitting it 50-50 because we need to gradually expose you to movements to get a better adaptation to these movements. Otherwise, you're just going to be sore as fuck. And it's going to be the same for me now that I've not. So I was kind of running and getting back into running. I was doing some K sessions. I was doing like maybe twice a week. I was doing running. But tomorrow, as we start our actual prep, I'm gonna have to be really careful that we don't just go. I just don't go for it because it's an injury waiting to happen.
100%.
And so what I've done is in the program, you'll notice things like tib raises. There's a lot of hip mobility, a lot of like glute work. There's a lot of core work in there.
Yeah. That's
gonna help counterbalance any. It's gonna help prevent any. Well, I don't know what prevent the injury, but pardon me. It will hopefully help buffer injuries that are on the way.
Exactly.
But again, it's going to be a case of graded exposure.
Yeah.
I'm going to do. I think I built up to like 5x1 before I stopped for 2 weeks. But I'm going to go straight back to doing 3x1K with my rest 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm not going to get carried away. I'm going to stick to the program. Yeah. And I'm just going to build upon it each time.
That's the way to do it. That method is so transferable. You see it when people are coming back from injury as well. One of my really good friends, she's kind of coming back in from injury at the moment, so she's kind of trying to transition back into running, but you have to be so careful about building it back up. Yeah. Otherwise, if you just launch straight in.
But there's also, so for me, I'm not a runner, right? Running's not my life. Okay, running's not my main sport. Like running's your main sport.
Yeah.
If you get hurt running, there's something somewhere that you're missing. Okay, there's a reason you got hurt.
Yeah.
Whether it might just be as simple as it's you've overdid it.
Yeah.
Or it could be like, okay, I'm not doing any gym sessions. I'm not doing any weight bearing stuff. My bone density is a bag of shit. It'd be as well just being a bag of bloody soup.
Yeah.
Like your bone density, your ligaments, your tendons, like your actual musculature and your like, okay, you're going to have really increased capillaries and you're going to have an increased capacity for workload compared to me. But there's going to be you almost play like this risk-reward ratio thing.
Yeah.
The higher the risk, the lower the reward. Yeah. Or is it higher the reward? Who knows? Mm-hmm. But yeah, to me, there's something missing in your training week if you get injured running.
Yeah.
Like something. There's got to be something.
It's not there yet.
Like it might be flexibility, it might be mobility, it might be stability. What other abilities is there? Might be can't say that.
Move on.
Not saying that one. So yeah, there's something somewhere that's probably causing you grief.
Yeah.
Whether it be you run too much in cushioned shoes, that you maybe changed your trainers and now you've got a battered knee because you're not used to running on those shoes. It might be you've tied your laces too tight and your muscles in your feet have gone a bit odd. It might be socks.
It can be something minor.
It could be something so minor, but it could also be something so major, like, and this is where you've got to be careful at the minute because we've got like minus 3,000 degrees outside.
Yeah.
One, obviously ice and like a little slip or a wee that's an injury waiting to happen. But running cold.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that this week. Like I think I strained my hamstring on Tuesday because it's just been so cold. But that's part of the weather. You just got to be careful, make sure that you're warmed up. But
yeah,
I feel like we went off on a tangent there.
So yeah, we did. Anyway,
ramblings. But anyway, we've done. I can't remember what the point was. We were just
graded exposure.
Graded exposure.
So yeah, gradually build up to. If you are training for Hyrox, do not go and do a full freaking Hyrox tomorrow. Like, and if your coach tells you to, get a new coach for starters. Mm-hmm. You should be. We're not doing any actual Hyrox work in the order, like the actual Hyrox event.
Yeah.
So the week before the event, we'll run a 3/4 version. 2 weeks before the event, we'll do a half a Hyrox.
Yeah.
4 weeks before that, we'll do a quarter one. And that's the 4 weeks. That's the 4 week peak to Hyrox. Mm-hmm. I'm not even. There's no danger I'm going to go and do 8K runs plus sleds and skis and rows and that in a massive session right now. I think so.
It's the same with.
That's like, I'm just going to get ill.
I wouldn't do a marathon before I run a marathon.
No.
Like, it's you have your kind of.
You build
what
to
you
it.
build.
Yeah, you build to it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But yeah, we did another session.
We did another session today. It was good. We did calories on the skier. We were pushing so we had 3 rounds. We were really pushing the calories on the skier. We had 4 rounds of different calories in a pyramid scheme. We were really pushing that. And what I was trying to do, I don't know about you, but what I was trying to do was utilize the bike afterwards whilst trying to keep a high heart rate, recover my breathing.
Yeah.
I got a new heart rate monitor. Feeling pretty cool. It's polar.
Jace goes to me just as we're going into the last round. I'm going to push this round, by the way, just so you know. It's like, what are you doing there? You're just playing with my mind there. Like,
I did push it.
Yeah, but you knew that if you said that, I would push it as well.
Well, that was the point of me saying it.
But oh my goodness, I hate the ski.
Yeah.
I hate the ski. I just, I'm waiting for the time where I
like it.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't happen.
I can't see that coming.
I'm waiting for the time I like running.
It was a good session, good sweat.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to doing these a bit more frequently. But also, I'm looking forward to testing some like equipment, but not like you think, like different socks, different, maybe not for you, but like different underwear. Like if I'm doing a sled and I'm going to run, like I don't want to be rubbing red raw or like having boxers halfway up my arse crack.
Yeah, you got to train in the kit that you're going to compete in.
So you got to train in the kit you're going to compete in, but you're obviously going to have to test the kit.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm thinking about wearing a cap so my hair doesn't keep flicking at my eyes and I don't have to sweatbands. Like, how many sweatbands should I wear? A sweatband on my left hand, even though I'm right-handed, but I've got my watch. So there's like a lot of things I'm going to think about and jot down and discuss. But let's wrap it up. You got a fact of the day for us?
Fact of the day. Oh gosh, you caught me off guard. Why am I going to have to come up with a fact of the day? I do not do facts of the day.
Anyway, what about a cheesy chat line for the end of the day then? So I said to Jen, I said, did it hurt when you fell at that vending machine? She was like, what? I was like, because you're a snack.
Let's just end it there because...
What, the podcast or the marriage?
The podcast.
Okay. Alright, that's it.
Episode 2.
Well done. Smashed it. That was pathetic.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give you a second chance.
So we need to practice that as well.
Why are you doing it so soft?
Because I'm a soft person.
Like.
Oh, okay.
You got to fist bump me.
3, 2, 1.
Gear stick. I'm out.
Oh.